This segment of Hak5 is brought to you by Carbonite. Okay, so you had so many fun hacks, and it just sounds like you had such a good time doing it.
It was kind of a ball, but then again, it got more serious because my goal was to become the best at circumventing security. Mm-hmm. So
you never made a dime off of any of this.
It wasn't money. It was adventure, seduction and adventure, curiosity and challenge.
So you never even wanted to make any money off of it?
No, not
like,
really.
You
I
never
wanted to be the best at. I wanted
an itch to do it.
No, I wanted to be the Harry Houdini of like hacking, and so I went after the source code of operating systems like VMS at the time, and hacked into DEC and took a copy of the source code. Which is like a serious offense.
Yeah.
But I was leveraging that source code to become better at hacking because I could analyze it for bugs. I could look at developer comments. I could change the code and patch system binaries. And then when it eventually became a fugitive, I hacked into cell phone companies to get the source code so I could maintain invisibility. And I knew that it was important to maintain invisibility because when the FBI was chasing me, I was doing counterintelligence. I hacked into the cell phone company in Los Angeles called Pactel Cellular.
Right.
And there was this informant that was trying to set me up. So what I did is I was able to get access to the call detail records. So I searched, well, who calls this guy? Who in Pactel Cellular calls this informant? And then I came up with a list of numbers, and I looked at their billing records, and it turned out they were calling FBI internal numbers. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out they're the feds.
Yeah.
So, common sense, I should have stopped there, but I didn't have any common sense. So I have this device called a DDI, a digital data interceptor, where it allows me to monitor a cell site on the data channel and see who registers and see who gets calls. So I programmed in these numbers into this device at my office. I worked as a private investigator, and I just let it sit there. And then like a month later, I walk into the office and I hear beep, beep, beep. I'm walking all around the offices, and it's coming from mine. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. I look at my computer, and it's my FBI early warning system has been tripped.
Oh my gosh.
And it turns out that one of the agents, I was petrified. One of the agents had called a payphone number, and I knew that number, what it was the payphone across the street from the apartment I was living at. So I was thinking,
oh no.
That happened 2 hours earlier. I was sleeping. If the FBI come to arrest me, they would have
just
walked in. Yeah. And they wouldn't follow a hacker. Like, why? Why would they follow me? They already know where I work. So the next logical thing is they were there to do a search. In America, they actually have to get a description of the premises.
Right.
So that night, I knew they were probably going to search the next day. That night, I moved out all my computer equipment, my floppy disks. Back then, 3.25 floppy disks.
You had a whole cat and mouse game going.
Yeah. So
That's
I moved all that stuff out. And then the next day, nothing happened. So then I got a little bit bolder. I went to Winchell's Donuts, and I got a big box, 12 donuts. And I took a Sharpie and I wrote FBI donuts on the box of donuts. I put it in the fridge. And then on a Post-it note, I write FBI donuts inside, like the Intel, Intel inside, FBI donuts inside. And it just so happens they raided me at 6 in the morning the next day, and the only thing they found were FBI donuts.
Well,
that's why they were mad at me. And they didn't touch any. I don't know why. They left them all for me.
Oh, well, that was nice of them.
Maybe they thought they were,
you were
poisoned or something. I don't know.
Of course, you're going to poison something.
Well, you never know what they think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I personally, I don't think that the law quite understands what it took to be a hacker back then. Do you think that they'd understand better now and maybe had given you more fair treatment?
Well, it was kind of, computers and hacking was kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand the nonprofit motive back then. So today we're post 9/11.
Right.
So they probably would have treated me worse.
Oh.
Yeah, who knows? But to be locked up in solitary confinement on some myth they could launch nuclear weapons, who really knows? I was kind of the guy. They wanted to make the example, to set an example for everybody else. If you hack, this is what the federal government is going to do to you. And in fact, there was this guy at Novell who I called up and convinced to set up an account on one of their terminal servers. And this guy, his name is Sean Nunley, and he asked me to call his voicemail, leave the password I wanted, and I did. And he set up the account and I used it, but he never deleted that voicemail. And then when they figured out what was going on, when they figured out what was going on, they turned that voicemail
Yeah.
over to Novell Security. It went to the San
Oh,
Jose
crap.
San Jose police.
Yeah.
But they play the recording. It's just a voice. They don't know who it is. So
They're just
they
like,
couldn't
oh, it
solve
must
it.
be Mitnick.
No, they couldn't solve it. They didn't know. San Jose Computer Crime Squad had no idea who I was, I guess.
Yeah.
So eventually it gets to the FBI in Los Angeles, and one of the agents plays the tape, immediately knows my voice.
recognized
Oh,
it?
that's Kevin.
Yeah.
Calls up Novell, says, I have some
No.
good news. I have some bad news. The good news is your hacker's Kevin Mitnick. The
Yeah.
bad news is we don't know where to find him.
Oh.
So what eventually happened is when I was arrested and they held me for so many years without trial, is Sean called up my attorney, talked to the prosecutors like, what's going on with the Mitnick case? And how can you hold him for years without a trial? And one of the prosecutors tells him, according to Sean, is we're going to teach him a lesson and send a message, and we know we're violating his rights, but we don't care. So Sean,
That sounds so unlawful.
yeah, so Sean was shocked. So he called my lawyer, my defense lawyer, offering to help me, and this is the guy I conned. So now we're great friends today. I mean, we're really good friends. He works for Fusion IO.
That's awesome.
And I mean, it was just like, wow. And he was appalled. And I didn't even know what was going on. I was just sitting in prison wondering where's
kinda
the light
hanging
at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a scary experience.
Now, given that this book is kind of a look at your past days in hacking, is there anything that you regret from the past days?
Yeah, I manipulated and conned a lot of people. That's not cool, right? It's not a nice thing to do,
Right.
even though my objective was hacking. So I feel bad for if I caused anyone
Well,
to
you
lose
were
their
a young
job.
kid. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I was an adult too. I was doing this till I was 31. So if I don't know if anyone lost their job.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what harm that I caused to the individual. So I regret hurting anybody or causing any company's loss.
Yeah.
Because to me, cyberspace was my playground, and I wasn't trying to hurt somebody. I was just trying to be the Houdini of hackers.
Right. Now, how would you define black hats and gray hats and white hats? Is there any kind of line between them? And if there is, what place do you think you're at?
I don't know who came up with that definition. I guess I guess once you're a black hat, you can never get that black out, right? So I'm probably gray, meaning
yeah.
that hey, I did things illegally, and now where can you take an illegal activity like computer hacking and legitimize it, right?
That's true.
So it's really cool because
It's hard.
now I do the same thing today. Clients pay me a lot of money, and I get to break into their systems, and it's fun. And I
So
help
that's
them.
what you do now.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like Pablo Escobar becoming a pharmacist. Where can this happen, right?
That's a terrible way to look at it.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of techniques have you developed over the past years to hone your kind of craft as kind of a social engineer?
Well, I love Dave Kennedy's social engineering toolkit. He's taken that toolkit and made it easy. Before it's doing it by hand using tools like Metasploit.
Yes.
But social
We
engineering.
love Metasploit here in the Hak5
Oh yeah,
house.
it's a fantastic tool.
I agree.
But a lot of it is, and it's simply by having access to a tool doesn't get you in. You have to really be meticulous at creating the situation where you're going to get somebody to fall for it, and not realize after they click or to give you information over the phone that they made a mistake.
You kind of had to be an actor almost.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
One of the attacks in my book is this was actually in a pen test, and what ended up happening is I bought an HP printer and created the CD, had somebody do the art, and basically created with the drivers with a Trojan, right?
Oh.
Packaged it all up and called one of the executives at this company and told them I'm with the HP Executive Early Adopter Program. We'd love to have you on the program. We're going to send you. Would you like a free
And of
printer?
course, they're not going to say no.
They're not going to say no.
Yeah.
And I reminded him it's very important because of a bug I asked him what operating system he's using. It was Windows. If you're using Windows, make sure you install the CD. They did it. He did it. And it's coming up with the ideas because the attacker wants to get software or malicious code on the box. Usually that's it. Like all the attacks today are using social engineering to drive a client-side exploit in Adobe Flash and Office documents and stuff like that, or getting somebody to make a mistake, plugging in that USB drive, installing a piece of software. So you kind of think of a situation where it says where somebody wants something, And it seems so reasonable, and the risk, you open an HP printer and you see the CD, and it looks exactly like HP's. You're not looking at it for a counterfeit.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're like, oh,
that's
it must
like
be
reasonable,
real.
right?
Yeah.
And it works.
Of course.
Yeah. So in all the social engineering, well, both technical and social engineering pen testing that we've been doing since 2003, we never failed.
Really?
So does that tell you that we're really good, or does that tell you security is really bad?
In my opinion, security is really bad.
I agree. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there.
Yeah, there is. So do you have any new projects coming up?
Well, I finished my book. Right now we have...
Which was awesome.
Right, thank you so much. We have a potential television series. There's a huge network that is sending the book to. They sent the book to the writers.
Have you told anybody about this, or
No.
are we we're the first to hear?
Yeah, but it's a shot in the dark. That's Hollywood.
That would
So
be
right now
really
it's with
cool,
the writers. If the writers want to do it, then they'll probably green light a pilot to do a pilot, and we might have a television series based on the book. I don't know. I'm
Cool.
praying. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I joined this company. It's not announced yet, but this company develops internet security awareness training products. Because how do you prevent social engineering? Is in corporate environments, you have to simulate attacks on the users, right? To inoculate them. It's like having a flu shot, right? You don't want to get the H1N1, so if they give you a little bit of the virus, your body builds that immunity.
Yeah.
Same thing, it's the same psychological idea with social engineering, is you attack the users over a period of time, you inoculate them. Now when the real attack comes, they reject it. So I'm just joined this company in an executive position to help create this product that will help companies prevent the future Kevin Mitnicks from getting in.
Oh, the future Kevin Mitnick.
The future Kevin Mitnicks.
All the little 10-year-old ones up there.
Yeah.
So for
the
12-year-olds
with the bus punch.
Yes, for the 12-year-olds with the bus punch, the
Yes.
budding hackers. Do you have any kind of best traits that you think that they should have, or any kind of?
Well, think fast on your feet.
Think faster.
And to me, hacking was all about the passion, right? I mean, I was just so.
I
it was
agree.
just something
and
I
can
loved
tell
to
you're
do.
so passionate about it. It's
Right.
awesome.
I mean, it's like a guy that plays soccer goes out and practices, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's because he wants to be the best soccer player.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to be the best, hacker at circumventing security, because to me it was like magic. Because I actually started, and I mentioned it in Ghost in the Wires.
Yes, you started with that.
How I started hacking was wanting to perform magic tricks. And then I met this kid in high school that can perform magic with the telephone. He was a phone phreaker. So I got involved in this hobby, and one of my first phone phreaker hacks, this is funny, was to change my friend's home phone, another phone phreaker, to a payphone. So whenever he or his parents would try to make a call, you know what they would hear?
What?
Listen.
The call you have made requires a 10-cent deposit. Please hang up momentarily, listen for dial tone, deposit 10 cents, and dial your call again.
So
That's great.
So they'd hear this recording. My friend would call me, put it back, my parents are going to kill me. So then you know what I do? Change it to a prison phone. So they can only make collect calls. So I just like playing with the system. I was a prankster.
Oh, that's so funny. So if you could talk to your 12-year-old self now, what would you say to him?
Wow. Well, I mean, the world has changed, right? I mean, from when I was 12, I mean, right now, everybody has access to tools, like your favorite one is Metasploit. They have access to technology. I mean, this did not exist.
Yeah.
My first computer was in high school, was an Olivetti terminal with an acoustic coupler modem at 110 baud.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
10 characters a second, right?
At that time, I think my dad had one of those.
That's scary. Showing my age again. So anyway, a terminal, a VT100 terminal and a modem would cost you $3 or $4 grand. Wow. So it was unaffordable.
Gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, unaffordable for me to learn about technology. So what I used to do is roam through Radio Shacks in the San Fernando Valley and at college campuses, trying to hijack computer time so I could learn about technology.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Now, right after the break, we are going to have some awesome viewer questions for you. I don't know what these are yet, so be warned. But we'll be right back after this break.
Computer disasters eventually happen to everyone, but if you get Carbonite Online Backup before your disaster, then no need to worry, because all of your files will be backed up automatically and safely off-site, and getting them back is really easy to do on any computer or your smartphone or the Carbonite iPad app. You can access them anytime, anywhere, and with Carbonite Unlimited Backup for PC or Mac, it's just $59 a year. But if you use the offer code HAK5 when you start your free 15-day trial, you get 2 months free if you decide to buy. All the details are over at carbonite.com, and remember to use the offer code HAK5 to get yourself 2 months free with purchase.